Hi and welcome to Whiskey Shared. You're watching day 7 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. I'm Toby and you're watching Whiskey Shared. Welcome to day 7 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. If you've seen this before and you know it works, then you can just skip straight forward to the tasting. Otherwise, the way this works is I have over 150 samples in my sample collection and my wife has picked 24 at random. She'll put one a day into a blue Glencairn glass and I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll tell you if I like it, and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. Should we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. If you'd like to play along with me and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Okay, so there's a little bit of fruitiness I think with this, and there's like a herbal note in the background. It seems a little sweet. I'm getting like a rye spice note on the nose. That sort of herbal note is a little bit like linseed oil. Yeah, it's slightly funky with that, and it's actually dominating on the nose, although it's not overly strong. There's not much in the way of sort of alcohol vapour either. But that rye style note is definitely quite noticeable. Yeah, that sort of fruitiness, I'd say it's a little sweet. I'm getting a little bit of vanilla as well, but it's quite difficult to tell with that fruitiness if it's coming from like a wine or a sherry, or whether or not it's more like an orchard fruits. Maybe I'm getting it like a hint of cherry now. Instantly is starting to remind me of a rye whiskey, maybe an American rye whiskey. But yeah, I think it's really difficult to tell at this stage. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, the dominating feature on the palate for me is two things. One is heat, and the other is that sort of rye spice, linseed oil note. It's a little bit funky, a little bit herbal. It's quite dominant, but it disappears quite fast on the palate. There's a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of nuttiness, but yeah, it does remind me of a rye whiskey at this stage. Let's have another sip. Instantly reminds me of a rye whiskey I had a long time ago, which was the Hudson Manhattan Rye. I don't believe it's that, because I'm pretty sure I don't have any of that whiskey left, otherwise I would have drunk that a long time ago. So I don't think I have a sample of that, but it has that sort of character. I'd like to hope it is a rye, because I do like ryes, and I do like that sort of funky herbal sort of style that you can get from rye whiskies. Yeah. Let's have another sip. There is definitely a fruitiness though there. I think it could be from a wine maturation maybe, or a sherry, but it is quite light. That fruitiness is a little bit like stone fruits, so it's not overly sweet for me. It is a little bit tannic, a little bit drying on the palate. I'd say the finish is short to medium. It does dissipate quite quickly, but there is a bit of heat. In terms of ABV, I'd say it's a 46% whiskey maybe. But yeah, I'm hoping it is a rye. I'd guess that it potentially isn't American. Maybe it's from somewhere else, maybe European, somewhere in Europe, possibly even the UK. Obviously the UK, there have been some rye whiskies made in England and Scotland, so could be either of those. I'm trying to think if I've got any, but probably not. So maybe a European rye, or I might be completely wrong and it's a maybe it's a single malt, or maybe even a blend. But let's go with rye. No idea on age, and let's go for somewhere in Europe. I'll be as vague as that. Should we find out what's in my glass? Right, so it's Lot 40 single pot still rye. It's 43% ABV, and it's from Mark McCorry. So thanks, Mark, for sending me that. Well, obviously it is a rye. It's a Canadian rye. So yeah, I didn't even realise I had that in my collection. I have had a bottle of it before, and I've drunk it on numerous occasions when out and about. So yeah, definitely tasted a little bit more funky than I'm used to. The Lot 40 I remember was a little bit on the weak side, being 43% ABV, and definitely not as funky as that. So it's good that, you know, potentially this is a different batch. It could be an older bottling or something like that. It could be something completely different. But I do think I've had this for a while. So if Mark sent it to me, so it's yeah, it's been in my sample collection for some time. So it's always good learning experience. Obviously, I did pick out that it is a rye whiskey. ABV I wasn't too far off, but obviously, yeah, I was leaning towards non-American because I didn't think I had any American rye. So yeah, the fact that this is a North American rye, I think, yeah, it's good that it's good that it's showing that it can actually be a lot more interested and punchy than normal. So thanks again for sending me that, Mark, and hopefully you'll come back again for day 8 tomorrow. Slauncher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.